on People versus Jason Powers. For the record, Mr. King, you're not, I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. I see that it's going mute, unmute. It says you're unmuted and you don't have, I guess I was too excited about having both parties on this. I don't know, is there something wrong with your audio? Maybe you got to call back in. You want to?
Yeah, try that.
Yeah, hang up and call back in. But while we're waiting on him, Mr. Rather, I have Mr. Powers and I also have actually the victims on the Powers case also. Would you, if you talk to your client, do you know what we're doing on this case?
Yes, we have spoken about it, and I've let Mr. King know that Mr. Powers is going to waive his examination.
Okay, let me get Mr. King back on here. Mr. Powers, do you understand that by waiving the exam, that you're giving up your right to have testimony taken at this level?
Yes.
Your Honor,
Yes,
you can hear me now?
I can hear you now. Perfect, perfect.
I apologize.
He told me it was gonna be a waiver.
That's
So
correct.
I'm gonna, and that there'll be no testimony and that you'll appear downtown. Is that your understanding, Mr. Powers?
Yes.
The defendant and his attorney having consented to the bind over by Zoom. I'll bind the defendant over. The arraignment on the information will take place, well, arguably 2 weeks from today, October the 28th,
Right.
Right.
and I'll continue the bond.
And Your
Thank
Honor,
you, Your Honor. And for the record, the people have no objection to bind over, but I would encourage Mr. Rather to reach out to the AOI judge once he gets assigned to a judge, because these things tend to have scheduling issues.
yes, and the courtroom where it should go does have scheduling issues right now. There's one issue, Your Honor, that we did want to
Hang on
bring
just
up.
a second.
It
I
is
have a
my
phone call. Hang on 1 minute. Sorry about that. Okay, what's your other issue?
Your Honor, it's just dealing with the complainant being here. We learned, Mr. Powers and I learned through her sister, who is the person that Mr. Powers is staying with during the pendency of this case, that the complainant, Mrs. Powers, Jason's Powers' wife, wished to address the court or to tell the court that she wants the restriction of Mr. Powers being at the home lifted. That was the understanding we got, and that she was going to appear for that reason, to discuss that with you, Your Honor.
That she wants to change the bond?
That's what it sounds like, Your Honor. I don't want or can't speak for her directly.
Mr. King, do you know anything about this?
No, I don't, Your Honor. And I apologize. I did not know about this in advance.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I think because the complaining witness is here, she'd be the best person.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You can take your mute off. And did you want to make a comment about your contact?
Yes, I wanted to drop the no contact order.
Mr. King, do you have a position on that?
Well, I'd just like to know, Mrs. Powers, have you been threatened in any way to make these statements?
No.
And do you believe you'll be safe if the no contact order is lifted?
Yes.
And if there's any new instances of assaultive contact, would you hesitate to call the police?
No.
Your Honor, with that being said by the complaining witness, I'd leave this matter to the discretion of the court.
I'll amend it to a no assaultive contact. Do you understand what that means, Mr. Powers?
Not exactly.
Now, that means that you can have contact with her, you can't, and no pushing, no shoving, no unconsented touching. Do you understand?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, all right, I'll
And the
amend it
last
that
thing-
way. Pardon?
Thank you. And the last thing related to that, the tether provision was to prevent Mr. Powers from going to that location where they live together. So I guess my question is, if he's allowed to go to the home, is the tether necessary any longer?
Mr. King,
Leave that matter to the discretion of your honor.
I'll remove the tether.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So it's just the 30,000, 10%.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, you're all set now. Do you have anything else, Mr. Rather?
No, you have a good day, Your Honor.
All right, goodbye.
Your honor, that's
Thank
all I have until 11 o'clock. So
Oh,
I'll be,
don't threaten me, Mr. King.
see you at 11. Thank you.
All right, goodbye.
See you, Mr. Chair.
Miss Wilmuth, I think we're waiting on the defendant and his attorney, Mr. Schulman. Is that the only case you're on with me?
Good morning, Your Honor. Yes, actually, Mr. Schulman thankfully called me. He was under the impression this was an exam date and it's just a PCC. So he was on his way to the Romulus District Court. So him and his client should be Zooming in here very shortly. And it's my understanding we're just going to actually set an exam date at this hearing.
Okay, all right.